Football, basketball, winter sports, cold weather hereabouts. Anyone for tennis? This is the story of a remarkable young tennis player, one of the best in the country, one of the best in the world, who got there despite a series of catastrophes that almost killed him. It is also a classic, if improbable, story about the power of positive thinking. 2 years ago, James Blake was hot. Hot on the court, where his blistering speed had him racing up the rankings. And hot off the court, where People magazine named him the world's sexiest athlete. He'd signed a modeling contract, had spreads in GQ and Teen Vogue. On buses and billboards, he appeared larger than life. And then his life almost ended. Tennis court net posts are made of solid steel. And in Italy early last year, James was racing toward the net to return a drop shot when he lost his balance and slammed head first into a steel net post. The impact broke his neck.
It didn't move at all. It didn't budge, and I did.
His coach, Brian Barker, saw it happen.
He was running full blast. His foot catches, and he goes head first into the net post as hard as you could hit. There's a loud sound. He goes down hard. He's laying on the ground, and my heart sank. I was scared to death. I looked at him, and I gave him kind of a dumb question. I said, "Are you okay?" And he just whispered, I can't breathe.
He'd knocked the wind out of himself, and had broken his neck, but to hear James tell it?
I was unbelievably lucky. As soon as I kind of felt myself airborne, I turned my head a little to the side and hit my neck instead of hitting straight on my head. And
Right.
I was unbelievably lucky because the doctor said with as hard as I hit it, if it had hit the top of my head, I probably would never be walking again.
So you're there on the clay in Rome, and you're thinking, what?
Just every thought went through my mind. Could this be a broken neck? Could I have just ended my tennis career? Have I played my last match?
2 days after the accident, you were transferred to another hospital for a CAT scan.
Yeah.
Still had your tennis clothes on, and you said, I quote you, "I was still covered in clay. I stunk. It was a low point in my life. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I knew I was seriously hurt, but I also knew that I looked ridiculous. So I decided to laugh?"
Yeah, I was so fortunate. My coach, Brian Barker, was there, and he said, "We got two options. We can laugh about this or we can cry about this." And I immediately said, "Let's laugh. Let's just kind of joke about it and hope that everything turns out all right. But if it doesn't, I got to find a way to still be happy with it."
And he said, "We might as well laugh." He said, "You know, it's pretty funny that a tennis player my level, with his coach standing right in front of him, could run and go head first into a net post." He's like, "There's going to be something funny about this when we look back." He said, "So right now we'll just kind of suck it up and make the best of it."
Against the advice of his Italian doctors, he flew back to his home in Connecticut near his parents' house. His neck was in a brace. He was in horrific pain. But leave it to James to find that silver lining. Now you say that breaking your neck was the, quote, luckiest thing that ever happened to you?
Yeah, for last year, it was definitely the best thing that happened to me. It ended up being the last 6 weeks of my father's life, so I got to be here to spend a lot of time with him.
His dad, Tom Blake, had been a sales manager at 3M. But now, at just age 57, he was losing his life to stomach cancer. Did you know how ill he was at the time?
I really didn't know the extent of it. He was an extremely proud man, and that's why I'm so lucky that I did hurt myself the way I did, because I'm sure he wouldn't have told me how bad it was becoming and how serious it was. My plan was to be over in Europe that whole time, and so I might not have made it home at all. And I'm lucky I came home, and I learned a lot more about life and just about my dad and about everything. His father first got him interested in tennis. Tom and Betty Blake met on a tennis court and took James and his older brother Thomas with them